if you have a real one in your life, make sure that you don't mistreat that person. Make sure that you hold on to them, that you love on them, that you tell them frequently, how much they are a blessing to you. Because if you have someone in your life that's a blessing to you, and they're not your spouse, they're not related to you like a family member, right? They're just someone an acquaintance, or they're just a really good friend, or they're someone, that you may have developed a relationship throughout the years. Hold on to them. You dig? Because people that pour into you, people that bless you, and they don't have to, right? Those are the type of people that will always pour into you and always bless you because they have no motive involved. And how do you know there's no motive? Because they don't ask you for nothing. You know what I'm saying? They're there for you. They're there to pray. They're there to talk. They're there to listen and hear. You dig? They're there to bless you, to pour into you. Even when you don't want it. Even when you say, no, I'm cool, I'm good, I don't need any help. They yet still pour into you anyway. They yet still bless you anyway. They yet still cover you anyway. Why? Because the first thing they'll say is, you're not going to block my blessing. Right? And so when you have people like this that are either in your life or they come into your life, make sure that you recognize them for who they are. Make sure that you utilize the skills that they're offering because they're in your life for a purpose. They're bringing something to you that you didn't have before. Make sure you recognize it, you entreat it, you acknowledge it. You did? Because see, what happens many times is these type of people will come into our lives, right? And they'll bless us. They'll be there for us. They'll be there to support us. And then they'll be gone like that, right? Without a trace, without explanation, without anything, they're just gone. Sometimes they've been given a different assignment. Sometimes God will move them out of the way because you become too dependent, or you become too comfortable, or you have become to where you're starting to abuse the blessing. You did? So let us be very careful not to be abusers of the blessing, to acknowledge God and thank Him for the blessing being in our life, and also to emulate the blessing. The same way that someone is a blessing to us and they're a blessing and they pour into us, we ought to be that to others. You dig? Pray about it and ask God which one it is, but each of us should be a blessing. I can hear somebody right now saying, well, I didn't ask for that. They just did it. I didn't ask for that. You know what? And then later on down the line, when something happens that you didn't know was going to happen, or, you got blindsided because, just the way life does, right? And that very thing that the person that blessed you with, come to find out that you really needed. You dig? Some people are even arrogant enough to say, well, you know what? Listen, you blessed me with that, but it may be some kind of motive behind it. I don't trust it. I don't know the reason why you did it. And they'll be asking, did God tell you to do that? Right? And then what'll happen is they'll wind up missing out on the blessing, because instead of them just receiving it with grace and humility, they want to know when, why, how, and for what for. Remember, someone doesn't have to bless you. They don't have to see about you. They don't have to call and check on you. They don't have to text you. You dig? They don't have to come by. People don't have to do things. So when they do things that makes your life easier, that makes your life less stressful, that seems to be beneficial to you, don't ignore that, right? Acknowledge that. Celebrate that. You know what I'm saying? Let them know how important they are, because everybody wants to know that their purpose, their life, their goal, their desires, they want to know when they're obtaining those things, when they're reaching those things. You know what I'm saying? They want to know where they're at. And it helps when the people that they're blessing and the people that they're helping turn around and let them know, hey, man, I appreciate that. Hey, that was right on time. God really used you in that area. And if they never come back and say nothing, that still does not negate take away, damage, hurt, any way what God has told us to do. If they never come back and give a thank you, if they never acknowledge and say, hey man, I appreciate that, I recognize that, or if they never say nothing, that should not take away from what God has instructed you and me to do. You dig? So just remember, it's always better to be a blessing, to be a hindrance. You dig? It's always better to be a support and to be a help than to block somebody. Even if you can't give financially, even if you can't give your time, even if you can't give of your talent, you know what I'm saying? There's something you can give, whether it's a hug, a smile, a thumbs up. There is something. Seek God about it. Why? Because somebody poured into us. It's really just that simple, right? Be a blessing to somebody else because somebody poured into you. The world calls it pay it forward, right? So we can do even much better. We can not only pay it forward, right? But we can bless, we can speak life into, we can nourish, we can mentally, emotionally, financially, you dig? We can be a support system. We can help even in times and in moments of silence. Sometimes just our presence, right? And Christ in us, just our presence brings comfort and stability. So I just want to encourage you on this hump day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Be there for someone, support someone, encourage someone the same way someone has been there for you. And if they never come back and say nothing, that still does not negate, take away, damage, hurt, any way what God has told us to do. If they never come back and give a thank you, if they never acknowledge and say, hey man, I appreciate that, I recognize that, or if they never say nothing, that should not take away from what God has instructed you and me to do. You dig? So just remember, it's always better to be a blessing, to be a hindrance. You dig? It's always better to be a support and to be a help than to block somebody. Even if you can't give financially, even if you can't give your time, even if you can't give of your talent, you know what I'm saying? There's something you can give, whether it's a hug, a smile, a thumbs up. There is something. Seek God about it. And if you're really listening, if you're really hearing God, right? If you're really hearing God, not listening to the world, not listening to our own heads, not listening to our flesh and everyone else out there in the world. But if we're really hearing God, then God will tell us what to accept. God will tell us, yes, it's okay, accept that. Yes, I approve that. Yes, I sent that person. Yes, that's from me through my vessel. You dig? But a lot of times we'll reject things because it didn't come the way we think it should come. We'll reject things because, we'll be listening to our flesh. We'll be looking at how everyone else is getting blessed instead of letting the blessing be individualized to us. It's time out for that, man. It's time out for rejecting the blessing and acknowledge those that bless you. Your man, Levon. I'm out.